think one of the most difficult things for myself as a filmmaker, artist, whatever you want to label that as, is comparison, right? Just seeing what other people are doing, seeing, your friends, whomever, doing the most incredible work imaginable. And that's no discount to them, right? I think it's fantastic that they're able to take on the projects that they take on, and we all, want to be able to succeed and prosper in this life, right? But I think it lets in a lot of comparison that I don't think is necessarily healthy. And I think I've started to see that more within myself. And I feel like I see more that I'm comparing myself to other people and other things and other, cinematographers and all that sort of thing. And I've done less of that now. And I think it's been like a really healthy thing that, again, I'm still working on it. It inevitably happens, but I think I've gotten to a point where I kind of have a little bit of, trigger discipline, you could say. And I kind of want to talk about that. I kind of want to talk about kind of my sort of approach when it comes to, sort of just staying grounded and just staying like on course to the things that you want to be doing. And I think that first thing is obviously, just don't compare yourself to people. Easier said than done, obviously. I feel like for creative types, I think it tends to be really difficult to not feel that way, and to sort of not, I guess, look at your phone in a sense, because inevitably you need your phone, like social media, for example, to like promote your work, get your things out there. Always you kind of have to feed the beast that is the algorithm, right? And even now doing this, I'm sort of doing that in a sense. But I've seen that like long term is definitely not the best thing for me. I've definitely realized, it's easy to kind of look over the fence and be like, oh, what do they got going over there? Instead of just outputting things. And so one thing that I've done is that whenever I go to post something, whether it's on here, whether it's on Instagram or whatever it is, I try to just go, I post the thing, whatever it is, and then I leave. I delete the app. And that isn't to say that it's an evil, right? I do think it is an evil, but I think by deleting it, it's like deleting the app has really helped me kind of just not get into a time suck, which is like a really obvious benefit, but also like it prevents me from like instantly comparing, and it also lets me like kind of instantly focus on the things that I want to do. Because it's something that I've also realized, maybe this is, I don't know if I'm alone in the sentiment or whatever it is, but something I've also realized is that, I tend to sink myself into that hole of like comparison and go down that rabbit hole of like, why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? Well, it's because you're looking at your phone. The answer is right there, but you keep going back to it thinking the chapter is going to change. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I prevent this sort of loop that I have, which is going to the phone, comparing myself, feeling bad, and then not getting anything done. Whereas now I kind of stop the loop from happening by keeping the catalyst for that chain of events at bay. Another thing that I've sort of done is now that I'm like, oh, okay, I have this sort of free time. I'm not spending it on my phone. I'm not indulging in this or that. What can I do now? What's a productive way that I can sort of use this time that I have now? And one thing that I've done, I've taken this piece of advice from a previous guest, Navneen Goraya, incredible friend. She sort of gave me some perspective on, why don't you meditate? And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. I think I need some of that, because you're sort of like, the way I guess I've sort of I can describe my relationship is like, with meditation, is like, it's like a forced presence. It's an activity that sort of forces you to be in as you are, whatever you're doing in your current state of mind, just forces you to be right here, right now, you know. And I've found it to be incredibly productive to prevent myself from going into this stream of thought of like, oh, I'm someone else is doing XYZ. Like, it prevents me from entering that door because I'm outside of myself in a sense. Not really. Like, I'm present, but I'm giving my thoughts some distance because I've learned, through meditation, that it's sort of like thoughts just kind of exist, and it's not necessarily that they're helpful. It's just that they exist and they want to say something, and you've given them an outlet to say something, which is you and your vessel, your body, or whatever it is. And I think by giving myself that stopgap between thoughts that I have versus taking action on them or believing what they're saying, I've treated it as a separate entity, in a sense. And so by being able to create a separation between what my thoughts are actively telling me versus what I actually believe has sort of allowed me to sort of then go, okay, is this something that's productive? Is this even a thought that I should be having? You know what I'm saying? And by sort of asserting myself within my thought, between my thoughts and I guess my soul, I guess if you could create, just to give it a name, right? By asserting myself between my mind and my body, I've been able to sort of then sort of assess, okay, why am I having this thought in the first place? Is this even like a productive thought? And it allows me to sort of then move forward with sort of a, I guess, judgment-free conscious is the way that I can put it. Not guilt-free, right? Because I'm not above, certain things. But I think by allowing myself to sort of see what I'm thinking and to sort of assess like where the problem areas are, has sort of allowed me to move with like a level of like peace and a level of content within my own work. There's still a lot of work that I got to do. I mean, this is an active battle that I fight. And being content isn't really something that happens in my work. I think oftentimes I'm very like, I'm wanting more. I desire more out of my work. And if you've known me long enough, you'll know that like there's always a bigger fish. There's always something at the end of the line, right? Like there's always something that I'm in pursuit of and in chase of, and by allowing myself to be present and not compare myself, it's sort of allowed me to sort of focus on that bigger prize, eyes on the prize, like always and forever. But yeah, those are kind of my 2 cents. Nothing really crazy, I guess, but I'm hoping this was some good insight for somebody else. Maybe you deal with this sort of comparison / imposter syndrome in a sense. But anyways, I'm going to get going. I won't hold you. We'll talk soon. Peace.